Abu Mohammad al Julani was born Ahmed Hussein al-Shara in 1982 in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and first emerged as a fearsome militant fighting alongside al-Qaida in Iraq. In 2012, he founded the Nusra Front in Syria, a group that would later be rebranded as Jabhat Fatah al-Sham and eventually evolve into Hay'at Tahrir al Sham, HTS. In his early years, al-Joulani epitomized uncompromising radicalism. His leadership and tactical acumen, combined with his willingness to exploit the chaos of Syria, made him a key insurgent figure. Yet, even as he was once celebrated for his revolutionary zeal, his trajectory has since taken a dramatic and disturbing turn. No longer is he simply the insurgent who challenged oppressive regimes on the battlefield. Instead, he has gradually transformed into a polished political operator whose appearance in a suit convinces many Western policymakers to overlook his bloody past. Al-Joulani's early career was defined by raw insurgency. He fought for al-Qaeda in Iraq and established the Nusra Front in Syria, building a reputation as an uncompromising militant willing to use extreme violence to achieve his goals. His actions once inspired a dedicated following among those who longed for radical change. However, as he ascended to power within HTS, his public persona began to shift. He made grand promises of political renewal, including a commitment to hold elections in the newly controlled regions of Syria within a few months. A promise that offered hope for genuine democratic change after decades of authoritarian rule. Instead, he unilaterally extended his tenure, postponing the elections indefinitely. This blatant extension of power not only deepens suspicions about his true intentions, but also stands in stark contrast to the revolutionary ideals he once espoused. Simultaneously, al-Joulani's transformation is inseparable from his increasingly close relationship with Turkey. Once a leader defined by radical independence, he now appears to serve as a proxy for Turkish strategic interests. Senior Turkish intelligence officials have maintained close contacts with HTS leaders, and meetings between Turkish spy chiefs and al-Joulani in Damascus have been reported. Rather than operating independently, HTS now seems to have been molded to fit Ankara's imperial designs, a design aimed at projecting Turkish influence deep into Syria while subjugating Kurdish communities. Under President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan, Turkey has pursued aggressive policies against the Kurds, resulting in military offensives in Syria and Iraq, as well as widespread domestic repression. In this context, al-Joulani's alignment with Turkish interests is particularly damning by serving as an extension of Erdoğan's expansionist agenda. He has betrayed the insurgent ethos that once sought liberation for the oppressed. A striking aspect of al-Joulani's evolution is the way Western perceptions shift the moment he adopts a more conventional political appearance. When he was the rugged insurgent of old, he was universally denounced as an extremist and terrorist. Now, clad in a suit and engaging in diplomatic discourse, he is routinely portrayed as a moderate, pragmatic leader. Western policymakers, eager for partners who promise stability in a chaotic Syria, have conveniently overlooked his extremist origins. His image has been sanitized, and his bloody past is quietly set aside in favor of narratives that emphasize his supposed capacity for governance and reform. This rapid rebranding is not merely a benign evolution. It is a clear example of political expediency that reveals a double standard. A man condemned as a terrorist when in combat fatigues is suddenly lauded as a respectable statesman when polished for the international stage. Abu Mohammad al Julani's journey. From a hardcore militant to a politically styled leader who has extended his rule well beyond his own promises of timely elections, illustrates not only his personal transformation, but also a broader betrayal of revolutionary ideals. His failure to honor the commitment to hold elections has become a symbol of his departure from the principles of change he once championed. Moreover, his close cooperation with Turkish authorities shows that he has become a tool of a state that relentlessly pursues policies of repression and ethnic cleansing against the Kurdish people. The West's willingness to rehabilitate his image the moment he appears in a suit exposes a disturbing pragmatism. International actors are prepared to overlook his violent past if he appears to offer a solution to the region's complexities. In a move that underscores the dangerous fusion of extremist influence and state imperialism, Turkey's aggressive policies in Syria, channeled through figures like Al-Joulani, pose a clear and growing threat to Israel's security. Multiple analyses have noted that as Al-Jolani increasingly serves as a proxy for Erdogan's ambitions, reportedly even heading to Ankara to report to the Turkish leader and effectively governing newly occupied Syrian territories. This alliance creates new fault lines in the region. Such developments not only exacerbate the suffering of the Kurdish people, but also recalibrate the regional balance with Turkey's expanded influence and its willingness to empower militant groups, potentially enabling anti-Israel forces to coalesce near its borders. Experts warn that this strategic reorientation, where the once radical insurgent now dons a suit and becomes a political operator under Turkish direction, could destabilize Syria further, emboldening actors with hostile ideologies toward Israel and imperiling a delicate regional equilibrium that has long served as a shield for its security. For the sake of the Syrian people, Druze, Christians, and the Kurdish communities across the region, it is imperative that the international community recognize these contradictions. Only by holding all parties accountable, including Al-Jolani, the Turkish state, and those who turn a blind eye to such hypocrisy, can there be any hope of breaking the cycle of violence and oppression that continues.